asexual, and I share my own asexual life journey in order to help you in yours. If you haven't already subscribed, please hit that great big subscribe button right here, right now. Please hit that bell icon so you get notified of every time I go live like now or post a new video. So I'm in fact holding the phone today, so if it's a little bit jerky, you'll have to excuse me. I have in fact got paperwork all over the bed because I'm really busy with tight deadlines this week for stuff. So I was gonna leave it till the weekend to do a live video, but I just couldn't keep my liveliness away, if you like, because I love this channel so much and I'm really been missing you. So I'm just gonna move the phone a bit closer to me. So yeah, I want to talk about the asexual community and the difference it's made to my life. So last weekend on the 12th of February, when I'm recording this, in 2022, I had an asexual meetup. I organised this meetup weeks before the actual event, and I broke my ankle before the event, and so I was a bit apprehensive about going to the meetup, but not apprehensive in the sense I knew I would love to be around other asexuals, but obviously because I've broken my ankle, it's quite a lot of stress, you know, walking and moving around because I can't walk. I have to use crutches and a boot. And so, you know, I can't walk in the sense of normality. And so I was a bit worried about going to the meetup, but I was the organizer. And my philosophy is, unless I'm dead or dying, then I'm going down well, attend the meetup, right? And because I'm organizing it. And, you know, I didn't want to let people down. I wanted to see as many people as possible. So I didn't know how it would go, but I'm really happy to say that everyone kind of chipped in to help me in some way. And I was really happy. So the asexuals that attended the meetup on Saturday last weekend were just incredible. You know, they were so amazing. And this was on the 26th of February, so it'd be the previous weekend, wouldn't it? No, it'd be last weekend. I can't even count. Where are we now? 1st of March. Yeah, 26th was last weekend. So yeah, I've slept since then, or not, as the case might be. But anyway, yeah, so I was really so happy that the people there, they kind of pitched in to help me. They held drinks for me. They helped take my bag to the toilet. You know, carry drinks to the table and stuff because I had to go up and order my food because I can't use the app because I've got special dietary requirements. So yeah, I was so happy. I felt a really great sense of community, and that's one of the things I wanted to talk to you about, you know, that I find with the asexual community. I'm just gonna try and sit back a bit more. I find with the asexual community, it is really community spirited, especially now. You know, because I feel that a lot more people are enjoying my meetups lately. I'm getting a lot of good feedback from them. We're getting a range of people come to the meetups. I think there's more people that are a bit more outspoken, maybe a little bit more. I don't know if they are actual extroverts or if they've just got extrovert tendencies but more introverted. But there's been people who have been, I should say, more outgoing attending as well as introverted people. So I think that's kind of really helped balance the group out, because before I kind of used to be the only extrovert person there. And even though I'm not sure these people would identify as extroverts, I would say they're more outspoken and more lively. And, you know, there's a good balance of people now. There's different age groups and different gender mixes, and, you know, and it's just really good. Everyone kind of complements each other really well. And we have really good in-depth conversations about stuff, and people are chatting away like, you know, so happy to see each other. And it's just great. Hi, beautiful Sandra. Oh, thank you, Liam. Lots of love. Lovely to see you. So yeah, so I just find this really good about the asexual community. You know, this is one of the really positive things. I was absolutely surprised in a present way how many people did step up and help me, you know, how they've kind of felt a sense of care towards me, which was really nice because I feel that all the time. Like when I do this channel, I have a great sense of duty and care to the asexual community and to the people who are on my channel to support you and keep you as safe as possible on YouTube. You know, so that means I do block some people from my channel who are rude and everything like that, you know, because I have you're my community here and I want to protect you. Um, and I think that's the right thing to do, you know, to keep it as safe as possible channel that I can keep it for you. So it's really nice to attend the meetup. There was some unfortunate event that happened at the meetup where there was a person who well, you didn't see them alive, put it that way. You saw, it was sad. So outside the venue, there was police, paramedics, and yeah, you saw that a black stretcher with in a black bag. I can't even say it, you know. So anyway, that was kind of shocking. It had nothing to do with our asexual group. It just happened to happen at the time. And so that was really upsetting, I think, personally for me, because I get really upset about things like that. That's not nice. But there was a guy, member of staff, who was crying, so I presume he might have seen the person who was no longer in existence. But that was quite sad. But the venue as well was where I actually broke my ankle. So it was going back to the scene of my accident was really weird. But I'd already planned it to be there, you know? So, yeah, that was kind of strange as well. But the asexuals were lovely. They enjoyed the venue. The venue inside's really nice. It's good because it's near the train station. But I was just so happy like to be part of the asexual community because I felt like really looked after and well taken care of. And usually when I'm the organizer, I feel like I'm obviously trying to do that with other people, but I thought it was really nice of them to return that care. You know, I really felt that from them. And so that was really nice. Always make sure I like your videos. Oh, thank you, Liam. I'm glad you always make sure you like my videos. It's really important because it really helps asexuality get recognised more as well. One of my asexual friends on Facebook, they said, oh, they saw one of my food videos come up in their feed randomly. That's another thing about the asexual community. Obviously, I've made lots of YouTube friends, including you, Liam. We talk regularly on here, I think. We're probably the people that talk the most to each other on this channel, I think. I used to talk to a person called Heather quite a lot, but I know her on Facebook now. She was a person who I've known for quite a long time on my channel. She used to comment regularly. But yeah, I think mostly it's Liam who comments the most now. Liam, you're famous on my channel because you comment so much. It's great. I really love it and appreciate it. It's nice, you know. I think you come online at interesting time, shall we say. I think you pop on here when you see me. It's really, really sweet of you to do that. Lots of love to you. But yeah, so it's been really positive in the asexual community. I've made lots of friends here. I love being on YouTube. It's very difficult when I can't stream live because I've got a lot of deadlines this week. So I expect it'll be like the weekend before I can stream again live. But I just can't help but go live because I really miss you. And I'm usually meant to be doing this, you know, meant to be doing a live daily. It's just that at the moment I literally have got paperwork all over my bed, which I can't really show you because there's like my name and address on quite a lot of the stuff because I'm doing some paperwork that's got it, legal stuff that's got to be in for Friday. So it's kind of like, yeah, I have to get it done. It's a deadline, so I can't miss it. That's the latest it can be in. So yeah, and I got physio on Thursday and I've got to get some presents for my mum because it's her birthday on Friday. I'm diverting here, but never mind. But yeah, so going back to the asexual community, you know, I've made quite a lot of friends through this channel. I also have a friend called Martin, who was originally one of the people who I came to through this channel. They're part of my Asexualise Academy club as well. And yeah, and so I have other people that I've met through the asexual community on dating sites. I even met my best asexual friend in one of my dating groups. You know, you're always my friend, Sandra. I hope to meet you one day. I love you so much. Oh, that's really sweet. That'd be nice. That'd be really nice. It'd be good. I'd like to meet my followers and fans of the channel. It's good. Be really nice. Yeah. And so, so I feel like this channel's my home, this channel's always my priority. I have got other channels that I'm kind of starting to grow now. They're kind of just taking off. I'm doing a lot more shorts videos on there though, rather than full streams at the moment. The shorts videos seem to go well down there. And I'm trying to do some more over here as well, because I know people do like shorts videos, and some people have said that I used to do shorter videos in the past and they'd like to see more of them. So I'm trying to do some of them as well now. Because I think there's people who just like to see short videos as well. So I want to try and do something for everyone. But this will always be my main priority channel because I love it so much. I love the community here. I feel like, yeah, like I'm going to my, well, I was going to say my lounge, but this is my bedroom. Like I'm just a bit hanging out with my friends, in my kind of lounge area, which is really my bedroom. And so I feel really good about that. I feel it's so nice to meet people, like-minded people. Like when I first found out as asexual in 2014, and I came across asexuality.org, that was the very first time I saw anyone that actually was like the same as me, that I thought, oh wow, there's other people like me who don't want, like, or need sex in a relationship. And it was such a relief. And that is a huge benefit coming to the asexual community, I just felt such a relief. I felt finally, wow, there is some other people like me. I honestly thought I was the only one in the world that didn't want sex. I just thought there was something really different about me, and I just was all alone in that aspect. I really did think I was alone. And then I'm so glad I found the asexual community, because obviously I've been doing this channel now since 2015. That's a long time. There's some people who have had channels and they've come and gone, and they are no more on the YouTube, but I'm here for the long haul. It's something I want to do always. I love your videos, whatever length they are. Oh, thank you, Liam, that's really sweet. Yeah, so I just, I like all the friends I've made on YouTube, some of which have come over to Facebook. I've made friends on the asexual dating sites, in my own groups on Facebook, and some of these people I see actually in person now at my in-person meetups. And I think that's what's so nice when you see people in person, which obviously would be good for Liam to see someone in person as well, is it solidifies asexuality. So when I first came to Asexual, because I didn't see anyone in offline, it's kind of like, it's a bit like it's a, how can I explain it? When you don't see anyone in person, it's kind of like it's an idea out there, and it's real because you are asexual, but it's kind of like there's still an element of unrealism about it because you haven't met anyone in real life offline to solidify asexuality for you, if you know what I mean. That's what I first found. I found out I was asexual in 2014, but I didn't start doing asexual meetups to 2015. So yeah, I've been doing asexual meetups for a long time now as well. And I kind of was really eager to meet people in real life offline, because I thought then it will just solidify it, it'll make it seem even more real and be real, because it's very good that people online say they don't like sex, want it, or need it as well. But when you actually hear someone in a group of people publicly saying stuff like that, it brings it to so much more reality that, my God, this is a real thing. Because obviously a lot of people don't believe asexuality is real, and they kind of criticize it a lot, and they think it's just a fad or a phase, or that you're making it up, or that you've had some sexual abuse, which means you can't, you don't want sex anymore, or that you've got a disability, or that you're abstaining, or you're celibate, and all that lot, which is not correct. Obviously some asexuals might have had sexual abuse and others haven't, but the whole point is you lack sexual attraction, and that's what your asexuality is based on: a lack of sexual attraction and or little to no interest in sexual activities. And so I think when you meet someone in person offline, and you hear people speak about it in groups in public, if you like, I mean, it might not be major public, but it is in public, because it's in some people talk about it in pubs and stuff like that, then that it's real, because it's like, oh my God, there's real people here that are saying stuff, they're not afraid to speak from without a screen in front of them, because a lot of people on the internet, they hide behind a screen, you don't know who they are, You don't know what they look like, and they're kind of saying it from a position of comfort, if you like, and safety, and of and I can't say that, anonymous. I was going to say I can't say that word, but being anonymous, I'll say, and so you don't really know who they are, and they can seek comfort in that, and there's kind of no way someone can really hurt them as much. They could obviously hurt them verbally with words on social media. They could say things nasty and stuff like that, but there's a lot less way for them to be harmed, and it's kind of a very comfort zone, and so some people on the internet say anything, they just do things for show and to get publicity, and they do things for the wrong reasons because of ego or something like that, and because of those types of people, they spoil it for everyone else who's very honest. And so it kind of seems more of a idea when someone says it on the internet, and more of a concept. But when you actually meet asexuals offline in person, it actually brings it much more to a reality that, God, this is a real sexual orientation. It's a genuine thing. It's not made up. It's not a fallacy. These people aren't abstaining. They're not having sex because they're trying to stop themselves, physically when they get the urges, because they don't get the urges. It's a real genuine sexual orientation. There are people who just don't experience a sexual attraction. They don't look at someone and think, I want sex with you. They don't get the need or want or urge for partner sexual intercourse. They don't see the point of sex. They just think kind of like, ugh. I'm not talking and saying every asexual's like this, but when I go to my meetups, usually, predominantly, the majority, if not all of them, are sex repulsed asexuals or not interested in sex at all. So basically, sorry, I need to move. I'm holding the phone today, so there is movement on the camera. But so it kind of like really solidifies asexuality when you see people in person saying this. They're saying it out loud. They're saying that they hate sex, some of them. Hopefully asexuality will one day be recognised. Yeah, I want it to be recognised a lot more. Like yesterday I had a podcast interview late at night. That was very interesting. It's not my usual type of interview. It wasn't an asexual podcast. It's more of a it's about championing yourselves. It's about breaking through your fears and barriers and transforming your life. And I was talking about asexuality and how I was scared about talking about sex. I was very shy about it before I started my channel, but I knew that if I kept my sexual past to myself and didn't talk about sex, then I wouldn't be able to help other people, and taking that information to the grave with me would be no use to anyone, because I am an asexual who's had sex in the past, so I can use that experience and experience in past relationships to help others through my channel. And I was, but I've really transformed a lot because I was so shy. I couldn't talk about anything sexual. And ironically, since finding out I'm asexual and doing this channel, I talk more about it than I've ever spoke about it. It's kind of weird, but whenever I talk about it, I always think about it in an educational way. I don't think about it as in a vulgar way, so I kind of like rolls off my tongue a lot more, if you know what I mean. But if I actually get some person who's sexual talking about sexual stuff and being obsessed about it and thinking more of his penis than someone's personality, or some woman's care, being kind and caring to a woman, I get really disgusted and repulsed. So any guy that's so sexually, it doesn't have to be a guy. I'm just saying guys because that's the gender I'm attracted to. It could be any gender, any sexual gender, it just really makes me repulsed. So when I see guys really, really after a woman because of sex and how much sex she can give that person, give him, and he's lusting after that, and that's why he's wanting to be with her, that makes me sick. I really get physically sex repulsed, and I'm so glad I don't like it. And it makes me really personally hate it when I see stuff like that, It just makes me want to throw up. It makes me feel like it's abuse. You know, when the guy is so obsessed with sex that he's just using the woman like a piece of meat. Do you know what I'm saying? There's kind of no loving it, and I hate that. It makes me really feel repulsed, and so it's kind of weird because I'm writing the Asexual Guide to Sex book, although I've had to have a break from that since the meetup because I've had to do paperwork and stuff. So I did a little, I think last Friday was the last time I spent time on it. Um, but when I'm writing the Asexual Guide to Sex book, I have to write it from a very objective point of view as much as possible. Obviously, I'm going to be certain bias because I've got my life experience, but I'm trying to be as objective as I possibly can be for the reader and to share my experiences, but also talk in some good ways about sex. So if people want to have sex or are asexual, like how would they go about it? How would they feel good about it? What would make them feel better about doing that? That's where I'm coming from, a place of love and caring for asexuals and how to make it the best experience for them if they're going to try and do it anyway or intend to or want to or thinking about it, right? But when I actually get to a situation I come across in life where I hear, for example, a guy talk about saying disgusting stuff like boning women or shagging women or, excuse my language, or you know, banging her and all these really, or I find very insulting, disgusting words and language. And also it's kind of really dehumanizing, I think, the way they talk about women like that. And the way they just use their bodies, it makes me so sick and want to throw up. And I really hate it. I remember once on Twitter, it was disgusting because there was once this thing that cropped up in my feed from a guy who was private messaged me talking about, oh, we can like connect and help each other with services. And then I saw there was his Twitter feed, and I thought, what does this guy mean? And I did click on something which was sensitive content, which probably shouldn't have done, but I wanted to know what this type of guy was like and what he was talking about. I'm like, what? And and it was disgusting because there was this. Oh, it's horrible because it's in my mind, and it was a woman on a bed and a guy pulling her hair, having sex with her, and to me that's just so abusive. If you're, and she wasn't enjoying it by the look on her face, and it was just horrible. It was like an angle from him going in from the back of him. It was disgusting. It's like a bird's eye view. It wasn't a close up. It was disgusting, and so I find stuff like that very disturbing, very want to throw up, and very disgusting. And it really makes me hate sex even more whenever I see that. I will never ever like porn or anything like that. I think it's hideous. I think it's disgusting. This is my personal experience, my personal view, right? I understand professionally when I'm talking about asexuals. I understand lots of, there's a number of asexuals that watch porn. They enjoy it, they like it, right? So when I'm talking professionally, I understand that some people like that. That's them, whatever they enjoy, enjoy away. But for me personally, talking as my personal self now, I absolutely hate it. I think it's sick and disgusting, and it makes me want to throw up. And I just get so appalled by stuff like that. I just hate it when it's not. I feel a lot of sex is not based on anything to do with love, which is another thing that makes me really angry, is when people associate sex and love together all the time, which is what I love about the asexual community, that we know that love and sex are completely different things, which they are. This is why if I was getting into a relationship, I'd want to be with an asexual guy really more than anything, because I don't think I could ever find the type of love and relationship I want with a heterosexual guy. I'm not saying never. It's not like it's not completely possible. I mean, there are some heterosexual guys that are a bit different, but in the main, I just feel that I can't emotionally connect to them as strongly, and they're still sexually orientated. They still like looking at boobs, and if they're into guys looking at their private parts, and they're still like, ugh, it just really puts me off. If I was in a relationship, I personally wouldn't like a guy going around looking at other women's and blokes or whatever bits. I just find that really disgusting. I want someone who's kind of got a pure soul and a really nice personality. I find a lot of the asexuals I meet are aromantic as well. So there seems to be a lot more aromantic asexuals, those that lack romantic attraction and sexual attraction, which obviously Liam is, and obviously a lot of aromantic asexuals, they're not really into dating or needing a relationship. They're more happy on their own and with friendships and community spirit and stuff like that, which I think is still good qualities. I really think that that having friends is so important. My friendships are more important to me now than they've ever been. I view them really high priority. View them really, really high. I used to view a romantic relationship over friendships. I'd probably say they're both equal in different ways. I still would make a romantic relationship a priority in my life, but I would always make friendships and my best friendships a priority as well. So I've really changed on that. And the friends I've made are really high quality friends through the asexual community. They're kind of like, apart from my female friend who's not asexual, they're the highest quality friends I've ever made. One of my friends as well no longer identifies as asexual, but I met them through the asexual community originally. And so yeah, so I've made such good friends. The majority of my friends now are asexual. And I just feel so much more comfortable and confident around asexuals. It's like being in two different worlds. I was trying to explain this for the podcast I was interviewed for, that we all live in the same world, but there's like a heterosexual world and an asexual world, and they're very different. Like, I really can see the difference, even though it's all the same big world we live in. It's like a completely different atmosphere when I'm with asexuals, because obviously it's more based on fun and friendships, community spirit and laughter, and just having like innocent fun, not sexual stuff, no sexual energy, no sexual tension, no underlying meanings, no underlying sexual meanings. It's much more, much more interesting in that way. There's more to talk about. There's more interesting stuff to share. I think people who are not sexually orientated, we kind of talk about a lot of different other things, things that are really quite exciting, like places we've been or things we're doing, creating things, projects we're working on, work itself. And I just feel so much more comfortable. It would be nice. I still do have a craving lately to be with an asexual Indian soulmate. It's come back a little bit stronger again. That maybe it's because I'm starting to get over the other two people a lot more. Maybe that's why it's coming back a bit more intensely than it was before. I have thought about a QPR relationship. That would be the most I'm interested. Wow, Liam, a QPR, and wow, that's very interesting. I never knew that about you. It's good that you're thinking about different things. QPR, queer platonic relationship. Yeah, very interesting. Obviously, I'm too romantic for that. I'm like, some people say to me on dating sites, asexual dating sites, they're looking for a platonic relationship, but I'm not, because obviously I'm looking for like a high octane kissing relationship, a romantic relationship, loads of kissing, plenty of kissing. We must remember kissing. Um, but yeah, so I do miss kissing. I really do. I miss kissing more than a relationship, if I'm honest. I could do that relationship. I just want the kissing. But yeah, so there we go. I was talking about kissing at the meet-up, and they were a bit shocked that I'm into kissing, because well, one of the other people there was into kissing as well, but they can't do what I can do, which means kiss strangers in clubs. That's very weird behavior for asexuals, I think. But never mind. Obviously, I can't go to clubs because I broke my ankle, and with COVID, I haven't been for a while. I went to one club last year and got sick again with a chest infection. So yeah, that was interesting. I still want to get better again. I still want my ankle to heal again to the stage where I can dance again. But it's probably going to take quite a few months to do that now. But yeah, so I really feel good about the asexual community. I think it's the most hardest thing is, if you're a romantic asexual, is getting the right person for a relationship, because I find it very difficult. A lot of the time, like I said, there's a lot of asexuals that are aromantic, so they're not really interested in a relationship. More females there tends to be usually than guys. So obviously I'm not interested in females. I'm not attracted to them, don't want a relationship with them. I'm interested in them from a friendship point of view, from a community point of view, from asexual meetups. I have a lot more females coming to my meetups now, which seems to be really nice because I really seem to get on well with the females at these meetups. Whereas before, apart from my best female friend, I didn't used to get on that well with females. But a lot of the females that come to my actual meetups, they seem really nice and I get on well with them. They're very comfortable around them. So that's kind of new for me, and that's something that's really good that with the asexual community so far with me. I really appreciate that. It's probably really different. I used to have a lot more guys come, and now it's probably a bit more women. Although some identify as non-binary, so there's probably a good spread of even genders, to be honest. So that's really good. And I think it's really nice to have people to relate to. When you go through life not realizing other people, you must find it hard on asexual sites with all the kissing. Yeah, Liam. Going back to what Liam says, yeah, with asexual sites, I'm just gonna move the phone a bit more. Yeah, with asexual site, it's very difficult because I love kissing to extreme, and really, that is more of a thing that heterosexuals would do than asexuals in general. The only asexuals I've met that do like kissing tend to be younger foreign guys that I like, but they're abroad, usually in India or America, somewhere like that. And so that makes it does make it really difficult, it's because I really want to do kissing. I really love kissing. But a lot of the time it's really difficult to find a suitable person for a relationship anyway, and kissing kind of complicates things. That's why in a way I just wish I could go clubbing again, do dancing again, which obviously I can't do at the moment for the foreseeable future, and kiss really, and then go home, because that way at least I can get my kissing needs met, and I don't think about kissing as much then. I don't think about a relationship as much. And I can go, I used to love it when I go clubbing, dance to my favourite music, feel excited, elated, feel good about myself, and then I would literally kiss some guys if I wanted to, usually one guy at a time, obviously. And then I didn't kiss every time I went dancing. Just in the end, I was more that way. And and usually they hold your hand if they're going out at the same time as you. They usually hold your hand. Or I've had some other guys that have held my hand as I walked out. They're like, just meet me going out, and they're like, oh, hold my hand, and it just feels really nice because I love hand holding. I find it very intimate. I find it very nice and warm and cozy. You deserve a loving partner. Thank you, Liam. Yeah. So I kind of like do miss that, I miss holding hands and stuff. So when I was in the club, yeah, I remember one time I was dancing with one guy. He went off, I don't know if he went off a bit early, and there was another, I think he went home earlier, and then there was another guy that said hello to me on the way out, and started, like, I think he started putting his arm around my back to protect me from being in the crowd of people trying to get out of the place. And then I think he was holding my hand, but he was at least got his arm around my back a bit, which I don't mind an arm around my back, to protect me. And I was having a nice chat with him actually. And but some guys, they've just walked out and they've held my hand going down to the taxi, and I just thought that's so nice. It's like a really nice romantic time, like kissing, holding hands, and then I go home and I'm safe in a taxi by myself, get home, and that kind of like is the best of like the heterosexual world, I guess, because those guys I can't have a relationship with because they want sex, and it's a shame. I wish there was more people that based relationships on personality and kissing. But for heterosexuals, kissing is usually a prequel to sex. It usually means they want sex, they expect sex, and I just love the kissing. There's a lot of people who can be hypersexual, but there's not many people that identify as hyperkissers, in the world at large. And so that makes it really difficult, because obviously we've all heard of hypersexuals, people that can't get enough of sex and quite addicted to it, but you can't really hear of hyperkissers. It's not something that's usually makes headline news. Maybe I should create that headline. Yeah, I'll have to see one day if I can get some media attention in that department. Hyper kisser. It could be quite interesting. And so yeah, it's kind of really difficult for me. I don't really kind of fit in anywhere in that way. And so, it's really difficult. Like when I have my asexual meetups, I meet wonderful people, but I haven't met any guides, for example, who come to my meetups that would ever be suitable for relationship. Most guys that come usually nowadays are older than I would be interested in romantically. And of the ones that came before, there was only two. One who just wasn't suitable. We didn't really get on that well in general, I guess, because he came to my meetup, then went off somewhere else to see someone else, and it's kind of like, okay. It's like weird. But also he wasn't interested in the type of relationship I was interested in, so we weren't suitable. And the only other guy I had turn up was a person of color, and he was interested in children, and he liked me. He must have liked me because he was discussing children with me, and I'm like, I just can't do that. He's like, what about adoption? I'm just like, I'm really not into kids, having kids. And so far, those are the only two guys that might have been suitable at all, which clearly weren't in the end. So other than those two guys, I've never met. And there was a very long time ago an asexual guy, but we weren't suitable either. He's really lovely. He's married now, and we weren't suitable for each other romantically, because we wanted a different lifestyle. But I'm so happy because he's found his soulmate now, asexual soulmate, and they're like a match made in heaven, and she's lovely, his wife. So I'm so happy about it, But he was a nice person I met, but British, not foreign, and a little bit older than I would usually go for as well. But he's a really nice person. But yeah, so I haven't like met anyone else, that would be suitable at all. So, it's very difficult. I think that's the only thing if you're a really romantic asexual who likes kissing. But like when I had the meetup, at the end this weekend, there was just me and one guy left who I used to see outside of meetup sometimes as a friend, but definitely not suitable for a relationship. And I was showing him how to use Facebook dating. I haven't been on there, as you know, since last year, since for I think it was September the last time, something like that. But I showed him a crash course in like how to use Facebook dating. So I created a quick profile, then deleted it again while he was there. And as soon as I put my profile up, I was literally getting likes before I'd even finished, like, kind of like showing it. I just deleted it again. Oh, hi, Heather. I was talking about you earlier. Lots of love. You must have heard me. Because I said to Liam that Liam's one of my biggest fans on here now. Liam's here all the time. And I said I used to have a person called Heather who I met on this channel. So I said, and she used to watch regularly. So, but I know we're on Facebook more now, and so it's really interesting you showed up. It's lovely to see you. Lots of love. Yeah. So yeah, I do find that difficult, the relationship side of for asexuals. But I know people who've got asexuals as partners. There's another girl I know who's a writer, and she has an asexual boyfriend, and they live together. So I know it's possible to find someone for a relationship who's asexual. But yeah, but going back to dating, I literally created a profile quickly on Facebook dating just to show this guy in a matter of, I love your channel. Oh, thank you, Heather. Mwah, lots of love to you. Really nice. Oh, I got my two big fans of mine and followers of mine on the channel. I'm glad you like my channel, Heather. It's really sweet. This is really nice. This is what I love about the asexual community, and both the people I love on here are here. This is great. I feel like, oh, you've come at the appropriate time. It's amazing. And you can see my face lights up. See how much I'm smiling now. This is what it does when I see beautiful people on here. It makes me smile so much. Especially as I've got a broken ankle down there. So yeah, which is a bit annoying. It keeps giving me now it keeps giving me shooting pains, stabbing pains, which isn't very good really. It's probably because I'm sat down and I'm meant to be elevating it. So yes. I haven't got my boot on at the moment because it was hurting me, so I took it off. I'm digressing now. But the asexual community cheers me up, particularly you two. So that's good. But what was I saying? Yeah, so I find that really difficult. So anyway, I created this profile and deleted it again straight away. But it's like that did make me want to go back on Facebook dating a bit. I'm like, it's because I'm really romantic, and it literally pushed my romantic buttons. Plus, like I said, I think I'm getting over the other two guys from last year a lot more now. You've taught me to change my mindset, and that is okay to be single. Oh, Heather, that's great. I'm asexual and romantic, and I know I'm going to be alone from life. Oh, I'm glad, Heather, you feel it's okay now to be single. That's really good. I'm glad. That's really nice. Oh, mwah, mwah, mwah. See, with me, it's really interesting because I do actually like being single. I really do love it. I think it's like the best thing for me, usually. Like so far, I've always been happier being single. I've always been more empowered being single. I've always felt more confident and have higher self-esteem as a single person. At the moment, I'm really focusing on this week is a kind of like legal paperwork stuff week. So minus this week, I'm really focusing on like career and book publishing, and I want to grow this channel more. Yesterday I reached 1,100 subscribers. You know, the 100 is very important. So I was really happy about that. So thank you to everyone who's subscribed. And don't forget, if there's anyone you know that might benefit from this channel, to make sure they subscribe as well. I've also been experimenting on my other channels, doing some shorts videos on there, and they seem to be getting loads of views. One of my videos for my Make Money Make Cash channel, please subscribe if you haven't already. Then it's got 1.8k views in one day and 46 likes. I'm like, wow, it's kind of like really amazing. And on my Sandra Bellamy channel that I never used to do anything with, but it seems to be starting to grow out of nowhere, I just got people from Facebook finding my Sandra Bellamy channel and starting to follow me there and comment there. So now it's growing. I mean, I've only got 15 subscribers, but I went from 7 to 15 in about the last, I don't know, 2 weeks or something. So that's like over double now. But yeah, that's growing, which I wasn't intending to, but I am now, because I think, if people are interested in it, why not? And one of those videos got over 1,000 views and 33 likes in a day. But yeah, so I seem to be getting more people. But the more people I get on other channels, the better it is for Asexuality. The more well-known I get, the better it is for asexual books and, and asexuality in general. I mean, on those channels, I'm not talking about asexuality all the time. I'm talking about how to live your dreams and follow your heart, that type of thing. The Make Money Make Cash channel is about making money online as well. But there's a lot of stuff in there about like doing your own thing, living your own dreams, that type of thing, which I think is really important, because, so many people tell you to live their dreams and stuff like that. Liam says it's perfectly okay to be single. I agree with you. I've been single all my life and I'm nearly 36. Oh yes, it's our birthdays both in April, isn't it? I think it's yours the same day as mine, isn't it? 24th of April, is that right? I think it's the same day, isn't it? But yes, happy birthday to you. 36. Wow. You always sound young though, Liam. Like me. But yes, happy birthday. I said that in a very different voice. A more sexy voice. Happy birthday. I find it so funny that I don't mind being sexy sometimes, but I'm not interested in sex. It's so funny. Probably asexuals wouldn't think that's a sexy voice, but sexuals would. It's quite funny. This is what I mean about it's very different, because there's like two worlds. There's like the heterosexual world and the asexual world. Me too, Liam. Nothing wrong with it. Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah. I mean, I haven't been single all my life, but I have to say my best years so far have been since I've been single. Unless I met the right person for a relationship, it'd actually be quite draining, I think, and be anxiety-inducing and not a good thing for me. I just really miss the kissing. I sometimes wish I could just go on dates to kiss. I go home at the end of the night, but the trouble with me is I get attached, I find it really hard to detach. In nightclubs I could, because I just decided, well, I won't talk much to the guy. 24th of April. I really don't acknowledge my own birthday. Yeah, it's same as me. 24th of April. I thought it was. Oh, I always celebrate my birthday. Even if I got a broken ankle, I'll still be doing something to celebrate. I will not let it go unmissed because I love my birthday. It's the day I was born, baby. Woohoo! I like being born. I mean, I didn't have a great childhood. I found it really difficult, but you know, I'm here now helping you, and if I wasn't alive, I wouldn't be able to help you, would I? So it's good that I was born. I actually wasn't supposed to be here, so I have to thank my mum for that because yeah, I had to be pulled out by forceps, and my mum couldn't have painkillers when she was giving birth to me. She had to have extra oxygen for me, and so I was pulled out by forceps, and I only found out a couple of years ago that we had a 50-50 chance of me and her living. And that's really quite scary when I think of that, so I might not have been here, so I kind of have to think, wow, really was a miracle baby, wasn't I, you know? So, and I like the second part of my life. Like, the first part wasn't great, but the second part is really amazing, you know, the new me. Since 2012, actually, I've enjoyed my life a lot more. So yeah, it's been good. I still have a disability, you know, fibromyalgia. I still have anxiety. But, you know, and now I've got a broken ankle. Hey, but, you know, I'm still enjoying life as much as possible and trying to focus on positive things as much as possible. I'm a bit stressed at the moment because I've got a lot of paperwork to do this week, but you know, that's how it goes sometimes. I got a busy month this month, but yeah, I just think that it's really is very good to be single. It's very important to love yourself. It's very important to recognize the beauty in you and that you don't need another person to complete you. You don't need another person to validate you because you can validate yourself and you can please yourself, you know. And I do love a lot of freedom, you know. I do like the fact that I can, well, obviously I can't do much at the moment with my broken ankle. And sometimes I do think, well, if I had a partner who was into housework, because I absolutely hate housework, it would be quite good. I always wasn't really interested in saying I'd like a guy to do housework because I kind of like to take care of myself. But I think it would help me immensely if I did have a guy that was into housework. My friend Andy does a lot of the housework for me at the moment and does food shopping for me because I broke my ankle, and they come and do that all for me, like hoovering, cleaning floors, cooking, but they don't mind. They're a guy who doesn't mind doing that type of thing. So, you know, well, I say they're a guy, but yes, they have some feminine qualities. Yeah, but predominantly they identify as a guy, but not always. But yeah, so they don't mind doing housework, you know, and they're really kind and caring, and they do say that, Sandra, it'd be good for you to have a guy who is actually into housework. He is probably right on that, I have to say. But I don't like saying that because I kind of like to just be independent, but you know, it would help me out a lot. So I find that my back gets really bad with carrying shopping these days, like even in my shopping trolley, you know. So when my friend does it for me, my lower back's a lot better. So it clearly is an issue with carrying or pulling or lifting anything. But you know, I still think it's important to live your life as happy as you can be, in spite of any difficulties or mental illness or ill health or anything like that, you know. And I do find, like I said, I found that the last asexual meetup, everyone like was really supportive of me, really helping me because of my broken ankle. I found that really good and kind of like felt really included, you know. In the past, I've kind of always felt, sometimes throughout the years, I've been kind of caring more for other people. Well, I know in the past, years ago, I was caring more for other people than they cared about me. But now, since I've come into the asexual community, I feel that people really care. Take care, Sandra and Liam. Oh, lots of love. Nice to see you. Thank you. But since I've come to the asexual community, I just find that that I feel a lot more cared for. I feel a lot more included. I feel people genuinely take an interest in me. People genuinely like me. I feel like people like to talk to me as well. you know, and they're interested in what I have to say. And I also feel like I want to listen to them more probably as well. Like I find that I like listening to people a lot more probably than I even used to before, like, because I love talking, but people underestimate the fact that because I love talking so much that I don't like listening, but I actually do like listening to people. I don't want to be just the person who talks all the time. Oh, bye bye, sweetheart Heather. You've got a, oh, Heather's a sweetheart now as well. That's nice. So yeah, I think it's just wonderful to be included and to feel cared for and special. And I also, like I said, like listening. And I think actually being asexual groups, meet-up groups, has helped improve my listening skills as well. I think it's helped my social interaction skills as well. I have improved a lot because years ago, I don't know if you knew this about me, but I couldn't really be in groups. And I found it really difficult to fit in with groups. And I couldn't really, even when I was in groups, like if I did go out in groups, I would literally probably hone in on one person and just talk to them and the whole group most of the time. But now, because I host asexual meetups, I try and speak to everyone, get around different people in the groups. We kind of swap seats sometimes, although I couldn't do it this time. I've got a broken ankle, but a couple of people swapped seats around so we could talk to different people. I find that's very effective, and so I feel a lot more comfortable in groups than I used to because of the asexual community. Like I said, my social skills I think have improved greatly because of the asexual community. So I really do owe a lot to the asexual community. You know, it's grown me as a person, as an individual, as me as part of a community and team. I feel I'm a lot more team orientated than I used to be probably. You know, like I'm a lot more interested in working with or being around more people. I still find it easier usually to be one-on-one, if I'm honest. I find one-to-one interactions more easier for me, probably more comfortable for me overall. You know, but as long as I know that I'm going to be in a group, and especially because I organise the group meetups myself, I really do get a lot out of it and I get a lot of satisfaction, you know. And I like it, you know, because these are people I can relate to who are like-minded, who are very supportive and kind of energizing as well. I find them very energizing. As an extrovert, I get energy from being around people anyway. But when they're around, when the people around me, sorry, are like-minded and supportive, they're very uplifting, you know. I feel that when you meet other asexuals, it's very validating of your own identity, although I'm very validated in myself anyway. I don't need anyone to validate my asexuality for me. I'm very strong in that. That's one of my very strong best assets, I'd say, is that I definitely don't oh, excuse me. I can't really get the I can't really drink water while I'm talking because the water bottle's got a top on this one. It's annoying. I find it, you know, I find that with asexual, I don't need anyone to validate me. I'm very strong in that. I know for definite and for certain I'm asexual, so I don't really need validation in that. But like I said, I think it's nice when you meet asexuals in person because it does solidify asexuality. It makes it more real, more true, more in existence, you know. It's like anything. I think when you experience something rather than just talk about it, it's much better. It's, you know, it's a much better overall feeling, you know. And you know, I've met so many different people through doing like you know, doing like different things to do with asexuality. Like all my groups, like I run 6 Facebook groups, although I haven't been in them so much lately because of my broken ankle and stuff. But you know, I've met lots of different types of people in them as well. I've made some friends through them. I prefer one-on-one. I'm a very introvert person. Yeah, it's really weird because when I had the podcast yesterday, that's going to go out in April probably. I said, oh, that's my birthday's in April. the person assumed I was introverted, and I'm like, actually, I'm extroverted with some introverted tendencies, but I am actually extroverted. So it's quite interesting. They thought I was introverted. Very interesting, because I said I was shy because before I came to the asexual community, I never used to talk about sex. I used to be shy about it, you know. I wouldn't even speak about it with anyone, not even a best female friend years ago. Only a partner if I was with one at the time, which obviously I'm not now, you know. But now I kind of like talk about it, just like it doesn't bother me talking about it. And it's really interesting because she said that many people still find it a taboo topic to talk about and discuss, which I think is probably true to a certain extent, although I don't think about it that much anymore, because I'm always kind of like, even though I'm asexual, I kind of mention sex quite a bit. It's really ironically weird. I mention it more now than I've ever done in my life, which is bizarre. But you know, she thought because I was shy about talking about it in my past that I was introverted, and that was very interesting. It's like, I'm actually extrovert. I like being out, and you know, I'm outgoing. I like being out usually if I can be and stuff like that. You know, I'd be out all the time if I could be, and I hadn't broken my ankle, and I didn't have stuff to do at home, which I do. I like writing books, obviously, that change lives. So yeah, I find it very interesting, you know. Obviously I've had some experiences, the negative experiences I've had with asexuality, which I haven't talked about, but when I first went on asexuality.org, in the beginnings especially, then I got told that I couldn't identify as I did because I had you're a very bubbly person, Sandra. Oh, thank you, Liam. Lots of love. Yeah, I like being bubbly and extroverted. And so yeah, so when I went to the asexuality.org community, some of that time that was difficult because I got told I couldn't identify as I did because I used grey A in my definition, in my own label. I like labeling myself. And they said, well, that's not true because you don't experience any sexual attraction, which I don't, and so a grey asexual usually does, or a grey A that I know I call myself usually does experience some sexual attraction. I don't, but I use grey, not not the full grey asexual. I use grey. Well, I do in my title, I guess, grey asexual, grey A. I think in my title I use grey asexual, but basically I usually use grey A. Oh, grey A asexual. Yeah, I think that's mostly what I use, but I might have used grey asexual when I'm talking. But basically, I don't experience any sexual attraction, so I'm not textbook grey A. But the reason I have grey A in my title is because I don't feel comfortable calling myself just a heteromantic asexual because I have sexual behaviour despite not having any sexual attraction. And so I kind of feel like it doesn't fit in with the majority of the hetero romantics. So a lot of guys who are romantic, they don't have any sexual behaviour like I do, unless they're on the more sexual end of the asexual spectrum, so unless they come under grey asexuals. So that's why I add that to my title. I could take it off, but I wouldn't feel comfortable because when I first went on asexuality.com, an asexual dating website, a guy actually said to me in private message he'd be worried about me being too sexual behaviour for him because of the way I like to kiss. And so that was kind of shocking for me, you know. So like I think it's fair in, especially when I'm doing, well, I'm still on asexual dating sites, I'm not really doing anything there. But, you know, I just think it's so important to kind of like, you know, use grey A because I just think it shows people to expect a bit of kind of more of the grey asexual type of behaviour, if you know what I mean. And so, you know, so that was kind of like really weird because I mean, at the end of the day, a person can identify however they want to identify. It's not up to someone else to tell them how they can or can't identify. So that really kind of put me off going on there. And, you know, I am treated a bit unfairly on there still, I have to say, you know, kind of like other people do stuff and then if I do it, I do get told off sometimes, especially in the past. And so that's kind of very difficult for me. But it does help me a lot organise social meetups through there. So I've met people off there. So it is nice in that way, you know. Obviously I've had some upset and pain where dating relationships are concerned because I've had some asexuals I've been interested in, but they usually haven't been in this country. You can identify however you want. You will always be valid. Oh, thank you, Liam. Lots of love. Yeah, I was quite shocked. That's why I did my Asexual Perspectives book, because I was fed up with being treated that way and thought people can identify how they want, you know. And so I did and created Asexual Perspectives to celebrate our diversity across the asexual spectrum and our differences within it, you know. Because I think that's important to celebrate our diversity, you know, and that fact we're all different, you know. And it's hard for me because I don't fit in exactly to any total asexual box specifically because of these grey areas I've got. And so, you know, I guess I'm born like this, so I can understand lots of different types of asexuals because I kind of can relate to most asexuals because of the way I am with all the different types of things about me. Like, for example, with British guys, I don't really get that attracted to British guys usually, and I usually have to have an emotional connection to feel more attraction for them. And so I can kind of relate to demi romantics in that way, you know, because it's kind of like I do usually need some emotional connection most of the time. I did allow a British guy to kiss me in 2020 before the pandemic, or just as it was starting. I think it was before the pandemic had started, actually. I think it was January 2020, something like that. And that was the first time I let a British guy properly kiss me in years. It felt weird, but he was like really nice. His kisses were very sweet, and like tongue was very little and cute. I thought, oh, this is really sweet, actually. I really enjoyed it. And obviously there was there was also a British guy a few years ago as well that I did actually have a relationship with. But these guys, again, I would say, well, the guy I was in a relationship with briefly a few years ago, he was 23. And that guy in the club, I don't know how old he was, very early 20s, I guess. But yeah, so, you know, it's not totally out of the question I could be suited to a British guy. Because my long-term relationships have both been with British guys, but I'm a lot more aesthetically attracted to foreign guys. And usually because I'm a lot more aesthetically attracted to foreign guys, I'm usually a lot more romantically attracted to them as well, because they kind of go hand in hand usually for me. But yeah, in terms of dating relationships, I haven't had any actual success of being in an asexual relationship, having one. So, you know, that's been a bit disappointing, I guess, so far. But I've learnt so much about my own body on my asexual journey, about the difference between arousal and sexual attraction, for example, because obviously I experienced high levels of arousal but zero sexual attraction, which I honestly didn't know about myself until I came across asexuality. So that's been very interesting. It's kind of discovering more about my own body. I'm really glad that I know there's other people like me in the world that don't want sex and want relationships without sex, because that puts me in a much more stronger position to be able to say to anyone who expects sex in a relationship with me that no, there are people like me, and I'd rather be single than be with someone who wants that from me when I can't do it, you know? So I think being around other asexuals and people like me is very empowering. Like you say, it is very validating. I don't have to be validated with my asexuality, but it's nice to be validated in the same type of thinking, as in there are other people like me who don't want, need, or like sex in a relationship and want a romantic relationship without that, you know, without sex. And so that's very, very reassuring, I would say, very reassuring. And it makes me feel really good, because I now know that I don't have to have sex to have a relationship, and I see other asexuals in relationships with other asexuals, and it works really well. So now I know that, yeah, I really don't need that. Whereas before, I guess, there was always an element of, oh, well, I have to do that. I sometimes think that occasionally myself. I'm like, oh, you know, if I really want a relationship, am I going to have to kind of like have sex to do it, you know, to have a relationship? I just couldn't do sex long term, you know. I don't know if I could do it again, and even if I ever did, I like, even in the past, for example, I thought the most I'd ever want to do it, as in be really interested in possibly doing it, would be 4 times a year. I don't think asexuals are up for that, really. They're like, oh my god, like once every 3 months, and then it would probably get to that stage and I'll be like, no, I really don't want it either. But, you know, that's in the past, and so far since then, you know, since my last long-term ex of 2011, over 10 years ago now, I just can't bring myself to do that anymore. Like, everything just says, no, don't do it. And so I really feel I need to find the right asexual guy for me. I do miss the romantic companionship sometimes. I think, you know, still about romantic relationships, sometimes I do find there are some good things about a relationship, you know, especially when you have like a soulmate, deepest, bestest ever friendship. There's kind of something really good about a romantic relationship when you've got that kind of foundation, you know. But like I said, so far I've been happier being single. I've never felt happier than when I'm single. I find being single gives you so much more freedom, so much more space and time to do your own thing, so much room for growth and development of yourself, and you can just really like focus on you a lot more and the people you help and community. I've never met another asexual person, but I know you're out there. Oh, lots of love. Yeah, I think it does help, Liam, doesn't it? Having someone like me on YouTube. I know there are other YouTube asexuals as well, or asexual YouTubers, should I say. But I think it really does help, doesn't it? If you can't actually see someone in person, to have someone kind of like regularly in your home with you through the screen. I find that really does help. I find that's very beneficial. I mean, it helps me if I go to a channel, I see someone like myself and I think, oh wow, you know, they're real, you know, especially when they're not hiding behind like a camera, you know, they're out in front of it like me. Because obviously you can get some channels that got videos that don't have any faces. They're like podcasts, they only have the voice. Or, you know, you get some channels that don't have any, you know, don't even have the voice of the person on there. They've got someone else doing the channel for them and stuff like that. So, but I think, and also some asexuals are not as open, I don't think, about some stuff that I am. You know, I'm very open about my past relationships to help others. I think that kind of makes a huge difference. And I stream regularly live, which I don't think any other channel does that's asexual that I know of. They might do occasional live stream. One person used to do one a week at one point, but I don't even think they do that regularly anymore. But, you know, I'm usually on here every day apart from this week at the moment. I've kind of got a lot of stuff going on. And I like that, you know. I like conversing live. I think it's in real time. I think it's really important to know that someone's thinking about you. You're there with another asexual person. You're experiencing life with them, really, even if you're not actually there physically. And I think that's important, you know. I think, you know, it really helps with mental health as well to know someone's there for you, you know. And that, like you said, Liam, before, you know, you feel less lonely if you've got another asexual person that you can talk to, relate to, and you know someone else is out there, you know. I mean, I wish every asexual person, whether they enjoy being single or they want deep friendships or they want a lifelong partner, I want every asexual to experience the type of love and companionship and friendship that's right for them and that they want, you know. I want every asexual to be happy. I think everyone in life should be happy, you know. I think that people should be kind and caring towards one another and accepting of each other for who they are. I think that people should look at the heart. You are the main asexual I watch. Oh, that's nice to know, Liam. Thank you. Oh, that's really nice to know. I appreciate that. You know, I wish every person to have love and happiness in their heart. I wish every person to find their special someone. I'm actually very good at being single. I'm very comfortable with it. And I know that even if I don't meet a guy for a relationship for me, I just want other people to meet that person for them if that's very important to them. Like my best asexual friend, who I found a life partner for them, They've been with their life partner now 18 months nearly. I think it's next month, 18 months, which is amazing. And, you know, and they wanted someone. They really wanted a partner. They wanted it more than I did, I felt, you know. And I'm really glad that they've got that partner now, you know, because it's made a world of difference to their life, you know, to feel loved by someone in that way, another asexual, non-binary person, and to just have that special bond and love with someone and care, you know. And so, you know, I know their need to be in a relationship was greater than mine. And I think that about quite a few people, you know, because I am actually very good on my own. I've lived on my own for years. I support myself for years. I can take care of myself the majority of the time. Like, apart from when I break my ankle. Then I do need a bit of help, to be honest. But, you know, a lot of help, I should say, from my friend Andy. But I've got a good friend Andy, you know, so I don't need to be in a relationship. But you know, I do wish everyone to find happiness in their heart. I wish people not to be alone, even if they're on their own and single. I wish them to not feel alone. I wish them to still feel that they've got people that care about them, that love and adore them. I want them to feel like loved and cared for, and like they're having a great big hug towards themselves, you know. I just want people to be happy. I see so many people sometimes so lonely, and, you know, I guess I can relate to that from my past. You know, I was so lonely in the past as a kid, for example. And, you know, I don't like seeing people lonely. Kind of upsets me a little bit, because I think I don't want you to be alone. I want you to feel happy, you know. I just feel it's a bit sad sometimes that there's so many people out there in the whole wide world. And some people, like, if they met each other, they'd actually make really good life partners. Obviously, there's lots of people that wouldn't make good life partners, but there are lots of people out there that would be suitable for each other if only they knew about each other. And I just hope one day in the future it's easier. I hope your ankle heals soon, sweetheart. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's my ankle's a bit difficult. I'm keeping a positive mindset, really positive this time, because I want it to heal as quickly as possible. And I got really distraught when I first broke my ankle again. I really, really distraught and upset. I was screaming out in pain, crying in the car park this time because it was more severe than last time, and I couldn't put any weight on it. I was quite shocked, and I was really traumatized by the whole thing. And I was thinking, God, how am I going to do this again? Like, it's not, I didn't want this, because it's like a new year, new beginning. Didn't want to repeat this type of thing. And I'm like, you're just going through it all over again. You got to start from scratch again. But all alone is all we are. Oh, I think there's a difference between being on your own and alone. Because even though I'm on my own now, I don't really feel alone like I used to. I used to feel very lonely when I was a kid at school, because I felt I had no friends, no one cared about me. I didn't like myself. I didn't love myself back then. I felt I was worthless. No one wanted me. No one cared about me, really. Well, no one wanted me around, should I say, you know, like, I was very alone at school, and, you know, my mental health was really bad back then, but now I'm kind of different, and so life is so much better, you know. So even though I'm on my own, I love it, because you know, I can live the type of life I want to live. Like, I live like a teenager, you know, like you can see all with my cuddly toys and everything in the background, and that's not really normal, you know. And I like being like that. It makes me happy. A lot of the times you're in a relationship, you have to conform to society, you know, like come home, cook food, work, go to sleep at normal times, like 10 or 11, and I'm go to bed at weird times usually, in the middle of the night. I work in the middle of the night, you know. And it's kind of like, I like living like a teenager. I like being different. I don't want to have a conventional relationship. I got so bored with that years ago. You know, it wasn't good for me. It was unhealthy for me, because it wasn't the type of life I wanted to live. And so, you know, and I like living on my own, you know. I find it more comforting and reassuring to take care of myself, provide for myself, spend my own money, save my own money, do my own thing, rely on myself. I wish I went to school with you. Oh, lots of love, Liam. Oh, that would be so sweet. That's really nice and comforting. Thank you, Liam. I'm sure I would have loved that. I might have been attracted to you, by the way. If I'd have been that young, I used to get attracted, didn't I, to people, well, guys who I liked a lot. But yes, that's really comforting. Thank you. It's really sweet. Yeah. You know, yeah, that's really nice. That's throwing me off my guard, but in a nice way. Yeah, I wish that little Sandra had some proper friends back then, but she didn't. You know, I always used to think when I was like 10 years old, in a romantic way, that I used to think there must be a guy like me. There must be a guy like me in the world that wants the type of relationship I want, that is romantic and likes kissing like me. I was still thinking about a relationship at 10 years old. It's not really normal, is it? I was thinking there must be a guy like me who like feels a little bit alone, but knows that he wants someone for a bestest ever friend and like wants the type of relationship that I want. I thought that at 10 years old. I still haven't got that out of my head, I don't think, you know? I'm like, there must be one guy. I still believe there must be one Indian guy in the UK somewhere who's like asexual and who wants the same type of relationship as me. Somewhere. There must be, you know what I mean? I can't believe there's not. Like, the UK's a huge population, you know, and there's bound to be a few Indian guys that don't conform to their social norms and society, because I have met a few, but usually in India they are. But I have met some, you know, guys that aren't married when they're technically usually would be, guys who don't really seem that interested in marriage, or certainly not what their parents arranged for them, guys who are independent, guys who kind of go off the beaten track of like what their culture is a little bit, you know, they divert a bit. So there must be one in the UK somewhere, you know, but I only ever know of one guy in the UK who's asexual Indian who's permanently here. He doesn't talk to me. He's friends with me on Facebook, never speaks to me. Who knows? I might be attracted to you before I discovered my aromantic side. I might be attached to you or attracted, both, before I discovered my aromantic side. Yeah, you probably would. But that would have been a bit difficult, wouldn't it? So, but if you discovered you're aromantic, well, I know that I'm hyper-romantic. That'd be quite interesting. But you know, some aromantic people can be into kissing even if they don't feel romantic. I remember there was one aromantic person on my Facebook page, my Asexualise Facebook page, but they weren't asexual. They were aromantic heterosexual. And she loved kissing with her partner, who was a romantic heterosexual. And he was always really surprised. She used to tell me he was always really surprised that she liked kissing so much, but she liked it as an activity to do. She really enjoyed that. And so although she didn't experience romantic attraction, she was really into kissing. And so obviously you can get people who are quite different. Because I've come across aromantic asexuals who I found very romantic from my point of view, not their point of view. And I've, you know, because for me, they exhibit what I would say as romantic behaviour, which is why it's quite interesting, because obviously I've got some sexual behaviour despite not experiencing any sexual attraction. I think some aromantic asexuals can have so romantic behaviour despite not experiencing any romantic attraction. But I think it would be difficult though, you know, like for me to be with someone who wasn't a romantic person like myself, because I think I'd be really craving romance, you know, and I'd be really wanting to have romance, you know. And so, you know, I think that if the person wasn't into romance, then it would kind of make it difficult for them possibly to be with me, and vice versa. So that's why I usually go for a romantic person. But obviously a demi-romantic is someone on the aromantic spectrum. I could be with a demi-romantic if they were romantically attracted to me and like kissing. I've met 2 demi-romantics so far. And both of those were only romantically attracted to one girl at a time, which I really liked about them. And that way I think I'd really suit a demi-romantic. But I think if their aromanticism was quite predominant part of them, then possibly it wouldn't work out, because, you know, if they're predominantly still aromantic, if they're not so romantically interested in the same type of things I am, and, you know, and then they don't make a romantic relationship a priority at all or equal to their friendships, then I think that would be very difficult for me, you know. I think it's important to to really get someone who you're compatible with, who feels comfortable with you, and vice versa. So I think, it's important to find someone for a relationship with who wants the same type of things as you and who can actually deliver it. There's so many people who might theoretically want what you want in a relationship, but they can't actually do that in reality because their circumstances won't allow it. And they're not really ready for it. So yeah. But I spent 7.5 years on the dating scene because of asexuality. Like 2014 was when I first started doing asexual dating, when I first started doing online dating. So, and I only stopped at the end of 2021. So that's like, 7 years. Well, it was 7.5 years because I started doing asexual dating, I think at the latest in July. Something like that. That's why I don't think the relationship wouldn't work out. Yeah. I agree, Liam, because you have to have two people that are really into the same types of things. Like for me personally, it's no good me being with a guy who's not really into kissing, and there's not many guys that are asexual that are into kissing like I am. Because I don't want to be doing something to a person who's not interested or not comfortable with that. You have to have two people who are really into the same types of things in that way, in physical intimacy terms, for it to be very magical and beautiful and special. Otherwise it just becomes uncomfortable for one of the people. I don't want to be with someone who I make uncomfortable or they make me uncomfortable. But sometimes, it's very difficult to know, I think, as an asexual person, until you get into a relationship, how things are going to work out. Some of the time, in some ways, because, for example, I haven't had sex since 2011. I'm not planning to have it. I don't think I could ever have it again. Sexual touching, which I used to do years ago, I'm not so keen on now. At the moment, I'm not into that. But I don't know if I was with the right asexual person, if they were into more physical contact with sensual touching. I don't know if I'd be okay with some of that more than I am currently. Because sometimes you can only tell what you're going to be like with that person when you're with that person, if you know what I mean. Because, physical intimacy is really defined by the people who are having the relationship. I really don't like kissing, says Liam. We definitely wouldn't have been suitable then. But yeah, it's good to know. I do definitely love kissing. It's very interesting because most asexuals, they hate the idea of saliva mixing. Any fluids and saliva makes them really feel sick. Whereas when I was at the asexual meetup on Saturday, I was like, yeah, I love saliva mixing. I don't hold back. I talk about stuff like as I see it. And so whereas most people would be like, I'm there going, no, I like saliva mixing. Which is very different, isn't it, to most asexuals, I think. But I find that interesting. With the kissing, I don't mind mixing salivas. I'm not really interested in down below, but with kissing in the mouth, I'm talking about, then I like saliva mixing. I think it's nice because I like making love with the tongue, and I like being intimate in that way, and I'm like, yeah, let's But then kissing's my thing, isn't it? I've always liked kissing since I've been 6 years old. It's a long time to like kissing. That's when I had my first boyfriend, heterosexual boyfriend, at 6 years old. And I loved passionately kissing back then. I don't think most people at 6 years old would be into doing that. So I've always been that way with kissing. And you can tell by the way my face lights up when I talk about kissing how much pleasure I get out of it. I get pleasure out of just talking about kissing, let alone doing it. But yeah, I've got to calm down because I've got to stop thinking about kissing because it just makes me want to go on dates. I'm like, yes, let's go on a date. Let's snog. And then I'm thinking, but you can't go on a date, Sandra, because it wouldn't be any good for you going on a date with a guy. It just wouldn't work out. Unless I literally just did it for the kissing and went home. But I don't think that's a very safe thing to do. That's why I prefer to do it in nightclubs when there's security guards there. Because then for me, it was a lot more safe environment, I could easily get away. And there were security guards there. There's a kind of safety in numbers, do you know what I mean, with that type of thing. Whereas I think if you arrange a date with someone, especially a heterosexual guy, like, nah, it's not very good. It'd have to be in public, but, I don't really feel too comfortable about that. But, like, sometimes I think it'd be good to just experience a real date with a real person in real life rather than online. I can't do online relationships and dating. I know there's some asexuals that love that. I do not like that at all. For me personally, that isn't a... I know there's an element of long distance in asexual relationships, because I know most asexuals don't live together, but I know 2 couples that do, one of whom's married, the other one lives together. But my best asexual friend, they live near their partner, but not with them. But I know there's usually always going to be some element of long distance, especially in the beginning with asexual relationships, and I understand that. But like long term, and especially if it's just an online only relationship, for me personally, that would not work out. I may as well stay single. There's much more benefits to me being single than having an online relationship. I really don't like intimacy. I am not an intimate person. Oh, right, Liam. Yeah, that's interesting. I'm glad you said this. It's good, because there's other people like you, I'm sure, in this world. Yeah, I like physical intimacy. It's very important for me. I love holding hands. I mentioned this earlier. For me, if I'm in a relationship and I'm holding the guy's hand, it's literally like electric. It feels so good. But obviously, even when I'm in clubs, I told you there's some guys that hold my hand when I come out. When a guy holds my hand when I come out of a club, I'm not in a relationship. It feels more warm and comforting, I guess, and soothing, I guess, and romantic. But when I'm in an actual relationship with a guy, it feels like electric, because I'm very, very attracted to him aesthetically and romantically usually. I'm very emotionally connected to him. And so it feels like electricity between the two of us, It feels more electrifying. It feels more magnetizing. It feels more elated, because it's a different type of feeling. Because I've learned to be able to separate my feelings from guys when I club to being in an actual relationship. I've learned to detach from guys in clubs, probably because I've learned to not talk to them too much, because as soon as you start talking, that's how you develop an emotional connection. I've noticed this. So when people talk about emotional connection, if you want to get better at emotionally connecting with people, it just requires you communicating more and talking more to people. And that's what it's all about. And the more you talk to someone, and the more kind of connection you make with them, the more emotional connection you make with them. So that's why some people can actually emotionally cheat in relationships. So they could be in a physical sexual relationship with one person, then they could be emotionally cheating, as in getting all their emotional validation, their emotional needs met by someone outside the relationship, their emotional security, their emotional validation, their emotional connection. They could be getting all that outside of the relationship. And so that's why you've got to be very careful as an asexual person, that someone doesn't try to have friends with benefits with you. So they don't have a main partner, for example, who's the sexual person, and then just has a relationship with you for the emotional connection. I know some people who have polyamorous relationships might view that slightly different. But I think there's a very big difference between having a polyamorous relationship, where people from the outset are wanting to have a relationship with multiple people and they're setting appropriate boundaries and assertiveness, to someone who's, like, for example, a heterosexual, having a relationship with one person sexually, and then they want to get their sexual needs met. They want to get their sexual needs met with a sexual person, but they kind of use an asexual person for emotional support because they're not getting it with their main partner. They're not intending to have a polyamorous relationship. They're kind of intending to have like a emotional affair, if you like. That's a very, very huge, big distinction between an intentional polyamorous relationship and someone who's kind of like wanting someone on the side for their own personal gain. They're completely different things. And so, like, I've known some asexuals to be like this as well. I've had asexuals in the past years ago chatting me up when they're in a relationship with someone else, and it's just like not good. I've also heard of heterosexual guys, for example, getting jealous that their female partner is having an emotional kind of connection with an asexual person. And the asexual person can't understand why that is and thinks it's kind of like not good for the heterosexual to be jealous. And whilst jealousy is not a good thing, I can understand how the heterosexual person would feel if they felt that that their partner was kind of emotionally cheating on them with an asexual person. Having said this, then obviously their partner, if their partner's asexual and they're not heterosexual themselves, then obviously they're going to be more susceptible to developing emotional connections with other asexuals. It's going to be natural. That's why I said personally I always would prefer to be with another asexual in a relationship, because I find that you can connect a lot more emotionally with another asexual person, more so than you could do usually with a sexual person. And so I think there's always a danger that if you get into a relationship with a heterosexual person as an asexual, that you could end up finding that there isn't enough emotional connection there, enough emotional stimulus, enough soulmate connection, because they're coming from a place too much of sexual energy and coming from a different attraction type of place, like a sexual attraction type of place. So I think you've got to be very wary of that, I think that two heterosexuals obviously suit each other a lot better because they base a lot of their relationships on sex, usually sexual attraction. So there's more of a connection sexually and sexual attraction wise, whereas if you've got an asexual person who is in a relationship with a sexual person, I think it's a lot harder. But I do know some people that make it work. I have an asexual friend online on Facebook. I think she's been with her husband now for 25 years. Although I think she found out a couple of years ago he's actually demisexual, not heterosexual like she thought he was, or he thought he was. So yeah, he seems to be on the asexual spectrum anyway in the end. But and I have heard other people make it work, but not many, But for me, it's essential I have emotional connection because that's how I love the most. And I like a guy who's very, very open and honest and says anything and everything and holds nothing back. And so you can talk to him just about anything and feel totally safe and confident and comfortable that nothing's off limits and everything's to be explored together, if you know what I mean. And there's no limits on anything, It's like the world is your oyster together and you can build this amazing team and friendship. I just realised I've been talking about relationships for a very long time. I think it's because I am still, part of me still interested in a relationship, even though I love being single. There are good guys in the world. I have met a few good guys, and these guys are ones that usually aren't suitable for a relationship for me, sadly. But I have met them and they're very honest guys. They're not chatting up loads of women. They're having really sensible conversations. They don't go putting kisses or love hearts to me and stuff like that. So I know that they're not doing that to loads of other women as well. They usually talk to me about business and work and life in general, or their friends or their family or what they get up to, general hobbies and interests. So these are the type of guys that you can trust because they aren't going around flirting with people. They're not flirting with me. They're just being real, genuine, honest, nice people to converse with, So there are some of these guys out there. I think they're very difficult, few and far between. There's a really nice foreign guy that I do talk to him sometimes, usually predominantly about business, but he's a really nice person. Early 20s, a very successful entrepreneur guy in his early 20s. He's a really nice person. He's very cute looking as well. He wears gorgeous clothes as well. Really gorgeous clothes. But, we only have a professional business, working relationship, friendship online, basically. And I message him more than he ever messages me. So he probably is not really that bothered about talking to me. I'm probably more bothered about talking to him. But it's nice to talk to him a little bit because it's quite motivational because of the work he does. He's very good at what he does. And he's a really nice person, I just think sometimes like it's a shame I can't get a guy like that, but in the UK who's romantic and interested in a relationship. And there's an older guy that I talk to as well, elder asexual. He's a really lovely person. I love the connection we have, two people on the asexual spectrum and on the exact opposite, and we are still able to build a connection. Yeah, Liam, it's so true. We are on the opposite ends of the spectrum. Yeah, in terms of like you're aromantic, I'm romantic. Yeah, it's good. It's really good, you know. Um, it's really nice. I appreciate you, you know. I think, you know, like I hope one day that if I wanted a relationship, I'd get a really nice guy for me. I just think it's good for me not to be in a relationship for the foreseeable future. But I do have this huge romantic side, you know, and every now and again it just takes over so much. And I do think about my asexual Indian soulmate. You know, there's probably not a day goes by when I don't think about him. I see him in my mind. I see this guy all the time, and I'm talking away to him. It's really bizarre. But I've never met this guy, as far as I know, in this lifetime. Even though I see him in this lifetime, it's very bizarre. And I keep thinking he's 23 years old. He's wearing a white shirt, short dark hair, clean shaven. I thought maybe he's not Indian. Maybe he just looks Indian. Maybe he's a British guy that looks Indian. I don't know. But you know, I always see him in my visions. You know, I see this guy. He doesn't have to look like this guy, but I just see this guy. But it's someone I don't actually know in person. As far as I know, I don't think I've ever come across him. As far as I know, I've had some red herrings in the past. I've had asexual guys that I thought were this guy, but they're not. I've had quite a lot of red herrings. But it's been interesting to have do online dating for 7.5 years, you know, like because I've had quite a lot of experience now at dating. I find that I really get a lot of likes though, that's very different to other people. Like when I was on Facebook dating, I got tons of likes. I really hope you get the partner you deserve. Thank you, Liam. I would like to get a good partner for me, you know. I think with the right partner, you know, I probably would be calm in a relationship, but unless I meet the right partner, you know, I need a guy who's very young but very, very mature for his age, like got an old soul in a young body, really, and young, you know, and I need a guy who's super, super intelligent, really, really strong, stable, honest, totally honest, like so honest that you just could not be honest, you know, like every little detail on his profile, like social media profile, every little detail about him is so specifically honest and he cannot lie. I just need a guy that's compulsively a non-liar because I have real major trust issues. There's only one person I trust in the whole world, and that's my best friend Sam, who's not suitable romantically for me. We're bestest friends. They've got a partner, which I help find for them. So, you know, I'm not interested in them that way. But you know, they're the only person I 100% trust, totally. And you know, if I was in a relationship, I'd have to find a guy like that. I cannot be with a guy who would give me just an ounce of doubt, just a little bit of doubt. I can't do that because I don't see how you can dedicate your life to someone who you can not trust. I need a guy who's really into me and be like not interested in any other women, you know, who would really love me. I saw in a traditional dating coach video. Well, it wasn't a video, it was a post. And he's in the post it said, always remember that it doesn't matter how many women throw themselves at a guy, if he truly loves you, he won't be interested and he won't go off with them. And I thought that was so true. You know, a guy who genuinely, totally loves someone, it wouldn't matter what woman came his way, he'd just be like, I'm with Sandra, no thanks, you know, like he would naturally say that, you know. Like my friend Sam is very good because they always openly tell everyone they've got a partner, even if they converse with someone else or new in their life, it's instantly I've got a partner. And that's the way it should be. Like if you love someone and you're really into your partner, you would tell everyone that you came across really like, oh, I have a partner, you know, so they know where they stand and that you're not going to go after them and that you're not interested in them romantically. You know, and especially if you're coming from a place of you love your partner, not ego place, because people who come from an ego place, they don't want to say about their partner because they want everyone to be like attracted to them. and keep their partner hidden, you know, or not rave about their partner because they're too busy trying to get validation in a romantic or way from another person. But if you truly love your partner, you'd be like, oh yeah, just to let you know I've got a partner, and then you carry on the conversation or whatever, you know. And so I really need a guy who's like Indian, preferably, and who would like just be so like independent, different, but always want a girl like me, basically, and just be like, yeah, she's my girl, and I love her, and Sandra's my everything, and you know, obviously still have his friends. It's really important that he keeps his friends, but he'd have trustworthy friends as well, so it wouldn't matter to me, you know. I'd just be like, cool, see your friends because they're cool, because you're so cool, you know. Because a guy's really open, honest, and trustworthy, he's going to have really good, healthy friendships and nice people around him to be his friend, you know. So I just think that I haven't met that guy yet. I really haven't, but I hope one day to meet him. It would be nice. I do think there's some Indian guy out there somewhere just kind of thinking about a person like me. And like, if I met them, they'd be so happy. They'd be like, oh, I've met my sweetheart. I've met my girl. I've met Sandra, you know. I always think that way. I think they, you know, they'd just be so happy with me. The right guy would just be so happy with me. Just be like, oh man, I've met the girl of my dreams. I don't have to keep thinking about I'm going to be on my own forever or something like that, you know, because I don't think they don't think they want to be on their own forever, this person. I think they feel a bit lonely, that there's no one for them in the world, but I feel that they actually do want a partner, but unless they find the right partner, they're just not going to be interested. And obviously I think they're really into kissing, but they know, like I know, that not many asexuals are into kissing, and if you kiss a heterosexual person, it usually always means they want sex. And they know this as well as I do, and I think they think there's no one, no one out there for them, but I'm here. And one day, hopefully, they'll find me. But yeah, I'll probably have to be more famous first before they find me. But yeah, and I hopefully, like, then I'll be in a much better position. You know, I'll be in a much better position to just, you know, just have a happy life with them, you know. So I do think that being asexual is wonderful. Like I said, it is hard to find a partner, but I still wouldn't change being asexual for the world. I know in some forums and groups, people are like, oh, if you could choose to be asexual or not be, would you choose not to be? You know, and I would not choose not to be. I would always choose to be asexual if it was a choice. Asexuality is not a choice, by the way, but I'm just saying people say this. You know, like, if you could choose to be asexual, not would you choose to be asexual? And I would always choose asexuality any time, because I don't like sex. I'm not interested in it. I don't think it's a good thing, personally, for me. And I'm glad I don't like sex. I'm glad that I can love without sex. I'm glad I can emotionally connect with people without sex. I'm glad that I can like a guy for his personality. I'm glad I can like touching non-genital areas and stuff. Someone who would lose you would have lost everything. Oh, thank you, Liam. Lots of love. That means a lot. It means a lot, saying someone who would lose you would lose everything. I think you're right. And I think it's a shame people do not realise what they've got until it's gone. You know? I'm not that type of person. I need to find a guy who's like me in that respect. When I'm in a relationship, even with my friendships, I totally appreciate them. I'm not the type of person that takes that thing for granted. So many people take it for granted. They're like, oh, I'm in a relationship now. Like, I don't have, you know, they don't pay as much attention to the person, don't have as many dates with the person, don't see the person as much because they've got them where they want them. It might not be a conscious thing they do. It might be subconscious. They might not even realise they're like that, you know, some people. But, yeah. But yeah, it's very well put. Some person who loses you loses everything, you know. And I actually saw a dating coach a while ago when I was actually grieving a lot more, you know. And the person was saying on there that, you know, if someone's lost you and they didn't deserve you and you walked away from them and left their life, then they'll be the ones who will really deeply regret it and miss you. and really think about you a lot, because they will have lost a beautiful person in you, and they will really, if they really loved you, they will feel that. They will feel that, and it will impact them. You know, so sometimes you have to walk away for your own good, but they will always feel that and know that, you know they lost a beautiful soul, you know. So, you know, like, it's really strange because I have such a big heart and lots of love to give the right person. I'll give it out to all my friends, obviously. But, you know, obviously it's not exactly the same as a romantic relationship. Like, romance, obviously I'm not romantic with my friends. You know, but, you know, like, I haven't found a guy romantically who appreciates me yet and who's like, wow, I really want to spend time with Sandra, I really want to talk to her, I really want to be best friends with her, I really want to see her, you know, and treats me well as well, and really values me, appreciates me for who I am, and loves me as I am, you know. Like, so many people want acceptance in the world, but then if you come across a person who doesn't accept you yet they want to be accepted themselves, it's kind of like weird. It's like, why would you not accept me as I am if you want love and validation and acceptance for who you are? You know, why would you want to change that person? You know, because you shouldn't. You should love them for who they are. I love being asexual, but if I had to choose, I would be bisexual. Don't know why. Wow, Liam, that's very interesting. Very interesting. I love learning about you, Liam. It's really interesting. You'd be bisexual. So are you bi aromantic? Like, do you have any attractions to people? Because obviously someone who's aromantic can still experience aesthetic attraction. You know, some aromantics, they lack romantic attraction, but they still be aesthetically attracted to someone, so you can still find them aesthetically attractive. Do you get aesthetically attractive to more than one gender? I'm just curious now. But yeah, if I was you know, if I was asexual and born a guy, I'd probably have more options. There are a lot of guys who are homoromantic. You know, and I happen to like a lot of younger foreign guys, and when I click through them, for example, in the past on asexuality.com, they're like, yeah, it's a guy who's into a guy, and I'm like, I'm born the wrong gender. I should have been born a guy, but I don't want to be born a guy. I'm glad I'm born female, but I have male traits that I love. I love my male traits. It's like I'd rather be building a website than cooking and cleaning and all that rubbish. You know, I'd rather be doing this show. I'd rather be doing social media than like doing like painting my nails or something. I'm not into that, you know. So yeah. But yeah, I think it's good that you said you'd like to be bisexual if you weren't asexual, Liam. I think that's really good because it's good to know who you are. You know, like, if I was born a guy, I would definitely be into guys. If I was born a guy, so I would be gay. I'd be a homoromantic asexual, so I'd be like a gay asexual, or the equivalent of a gay asexual. You know, because I'd be into guys. I would be a guy into guys. I know that. I always known that. Obviously, I'm female, but I'm that into guys, and I know if I was born a guy, I'd be proud to be interested in other guys. I think if two guys are together kissing, it's beautiful. I think it's great, two guys. But I was brought up to live near actual two gay guys. You know, they were kind of like lived near me and my parents, and so there was this male couple with a dog. They lived together, and that I grew up knowing that's normal, you know, for two guys to live together and be in a relationship. So to me, gay is very normal for some people, and if I'd been born a guy, I would definitely be into guys still, and I would be in a relationship with a guy. I probably have more choices, I feel, as well. So I think there's so many guys into guys. I think if the world was a more, I love both genders, but I don't really care about any gender. Okay. But I'm not into women at all. Like, I'm really not. I'm quite adverse to being attracted to women because I'm not attracted to women. For myself, I mean. But I find women nice as friends. Well, more so lately since being in the asexual community. I wasn't so fond of that before. I have one female best friend who's moved to Turkey now, so she's permanently there. I may never see her ever again in person offline, but I can still, like, we can still message online. But, she's got a new life now, new friends with her partner, and I am happy for her, though, because it's a life she's always wanted. She's older than me as well, in birth certificate age, kind of like, quite a little bit older, but still looks young. But yeah, she likes older things to me, so, I like young things. Like, people that say to me, like, why do you like younger guys? It's because I like young things, I like clubbing. I can't go clubbing at the moment. I like theme parks, zoos, aquariums, hanging upside down on roller coasters, going to bed late, having cuddly toys all around my room and sparkly things and coloured boxes and watching young movies and doing young, fun teenager stuff. Like, I'm not interested in anything like my birth certificate age. The guys my birth certificate age, they just want to pop their slippers on, put their feet up, watch TV, and to me that's just so boring. And they're not really into the type of music I'm into. I'm into like techno, reggaeton, Latin, dance, club. Like the 80s is usually, no, the 80s is a bit old for me. 90s and upwards music's the best for me, really. Which is usually guys in their 20s are kind of into that music as well, usually. So 90s music upwards, You are young at heart, thanks. I'm actually young looking as well, though, and young in my mind. I'm young completely. Like, I don't just think I'm young at heart. It's nice you say that, though, Liam. But I get a lot of people that, like, people just say you got, like, basically I'm young all over. Like, my birth certificate is nothing like who I am. I just get so annoyed by it. Because there's like really nothing who I am. I do not identify with my birth certificate in any way, shape, or form, apart from how I've got a lot of life experience. That's probably the only thing. But like, I got asked on the podcast, so there is stuff about my age in the podcast. I got asked on the podcast that I interviewed that I was a guest speaker on. I got asked when I first found out I was asexual, like what age was I? But I honestly couldn't remember. I can remember the decade I was in, but I can't remember the age because I block it out because I'm not interested in my birth certificate. It's like, even if I talk about it for purposes of doctors or hospitals, I don't associate myself with it at all. I just kind of have to say it to go through the motions. And so, like, I don't know many people that look young like me and that are my birth certificate age, really. I know some people who look young for their age, though, but I just see myself as really, really young. And she really threw me off guard with that question because I'm having to think on the spot. And I honestly couldn't remember. I just couldn't remember the exact age because I just don't think like that. Even if I try to work it out, it's really difficult for me because I don't like thinking about it. And sometimes you are 21, exactly, Liam. My mindset, I told her on the podcast, I said I programmed my mind to be like 21 years. And kind of that's how I think I am. And I live like a teenager, like I'm 15 years old. And so, and because of that, I don't know my birth certificate age a lot of the time. I do know it, but I don't think about it. I don't think what year it is in and compare it to this year and how many years is that in between. I don't think like that. I only know it because I have to know it because obviously I went to the hospital recently. And I had my best friend Annie with me, who's never actually said my birth certificate age outright because obviously he knows I'm really young anyway. But even he guessed it a bit younger than what I actually am in birth certificate age. I was quite happy about that because he came with me and you have to say your date of birth and I'm like, oh god. So I remember my actual date of birth and I remember what age I'm supposed to be in birth certificate age. But if I'm calculating years ago and I'm trying to think about now till then because I keep thinking about being 21, it's very difficult for me to do that. And I don't actually like thinking about the year I was born, because to me I don't relate to it. So it's kind of like, like I've got a second life now, especially since after 2012 when I changed my whole life around and started living like a teenager, like I was always born to be. So to me, it's like I was older in my previous life. I really was, which is in this lifetime as in physically been alive, but it's kind of like a different life completely because in that life I was in heterosexual relationships. For years, I thought I was heterosexual. For years, I mistook arousal for sexual attraction. I was living with guys for years in the past. I ended up being in really bad places, like with them, with lots of bad people in houses. You know, and I was living an older life. I looked older. I was acting older. Even at school, when I was at primary school, I was very old. I was an old soul in a young body, very old for my age. And now it's like I'm the opposite. It's like I've gone backwards to being a young soul, the soul I was always born to be. And I've gone back to looking younger, and I've got back to being younger. And it's like I found myself now. I found the young teenager me that I need to be. I remind myself as when I was 15, I think. It's because I have been thinking lately that I need to be more like I'm 15 in my mind as well. Like for purposes of being fearless in regards to media promotion. Like when I was 15 years old, I first started getting into radio. I don't know if you know that I was a voluntary hospital radio presenter for years. And when I got into radio, I was doing work experience at a radio station, a commercial radio station. And when when I was 15 years old. And it was then that I knew that I was born to be famous and in the media in some way. I've always known that. But when I was back then, I was very fearless. I had not many inhibitions where it was in terms of getting famous, in terms of promoting myself for media opportunities and getting in the media. I had work experience in newspapers, in magazines, more radio stations after that. And I was just so kind of bulldozerish and like nothing can get in my way. And now I remember that girl again, and I'm like, that's who I need to be. So even though I've kind of like developed myself to have a 21st mindset, I kind of need to put myself back in that 15-year-old girl's shoes and be her again. That's who I need to be in terms of like fearlessness. I really need to be that girl, you know? And so, you know, it's really important that I be that person again, you know? And so that's why I'm more thinking like that's really good attitude to have for my Asexual Guide to Sex book, for example, because I do need to do a lot of promotion when that comes out. But I'm still finishing writing at the moment. It's very interesting because when I was talking to the woman who was interviewing me for the podcast, when we finished the podcast interview, even I was talking a bit more about asexuality and stuff. And I was talking about my Asexual Guide to Sex book, and she was talking about, consent and that. And I said, yeah, it's so important. And she was on about, that, you must put in your book about, people, like the signs to look for of abuse and narcissists. I'm like, I'm going to be doing that. That's actually my next chapter after the one that I'm currently finishing. And I said to her, I've done a lot on my channel about narcissists, abusers, how to spot them, what to look for, asexual scammers, all that type of thing, So I do cover quite a lot of that on my channel, and I will be putting some of that in my Asexual Guide to Sex book, because it's very important you notice that if you are asexual who's thinking about having sex for the first time ever, because you don't want to get into a relationship with a guy who's narcissistic, because this means you'll be having someone praise you 1 minute and say how lovely you are, and then you'll have someone dragging you down the next, belittling you, making you feel small and bad about yourself. You won't know where you're coming or going. You're really disorientating, really abusive, and you do not want that, because you'll still, they'll still keep getting back with you and trying to keep you. My ex, even when I tried to escape from him, he was very abusive, and he would always in the end say he's sorry, or he either say, it's either saying sorry for this, he wasn't really sorry, it was just to get back in my good books and to make sure I didn't leave him, and he would kind of like, it was really weird, he would kind of like swear loads at me, and then he would start crying and going, I just like, I just want to, he would start crying and stuff, and it was like, oh, I don't want to lose you and all the rest of it, and it's kind of emotional blackmail rubbish. I hate people like that who do that type of thing. You know, so it's kind of like, no, I don't want that type of person again. I'd rather stay single forever than ever get with the wrong person ever again, because I am so much more happier as a single person, so much more alive, so much more energetic and vibrant, even with a broken ankle. You know, but I'm glad I've had the experience of dating in the asexual community. I have, and outside of it as well, I have learned a lot about myself. I've learned a lot about how to spot abusers. I can really spot a lot of people in text messages now. Just by the text messages they send, I can tell what their intentions are and whether a good or bad person, usually initially. Like, it's, you know, they'll say certain things and I'll just know that they're not a good guy just by very small interactions these days. Sometimes it's hard because sometimes you really want to believe a guy's good when he's not, and you really want the guy in you to work out, and then you kind of deny yourself the intuition that you know is right, is the fact that they're not a good person. You know, but you have to, like, in the end, just trust your intuition and save yourself from pain, you know. But I think, you know, I'm really glad I'm asexual. I'm really glad I'm part of the community. I've made great friendships, like I said earlier. Met loads of wonderful people. Got you on this channel, Liam. Some other people watching. Lots of love. You know, I've been, this channel's been viewed over 130,000 times now. You know, pretty amazing stuff. You know, and I just, you know, love it. You're always a goddess, Sandra. How could anyone abuse you? Oh, thank you, Liam. Yes, it's not nice, you know. It's really not nice being abused. You know, there's mental, physical, emotional, the rest of it. And I don't like people who abuse people, you know, but I stick up for myself a lot more now than I used to. I won't put up with rubbish. I'll walk away from people who treat me badly. And, you know, and it has to be done, you know. It's not always easy, believe me. Like, if you really like someone and you wish they were a good person, better than they actually are, and you get attached to them, you kind of want to deny the fact that they're not good, and then you realise they aren't, and you have to walk away. But at least I do walk away these days, and I can walk away with my head held high, knowing that I loved that person or cared about that person deeply, and they were lucky to spend some time with me and having me loving and caring about them. And, you know, and now I just can care about my friends and myself more, and yeah, be happy. But I'm so glad I am asexual. I'm so glad I'm at the community. I feel a lot more like I fit in somewhere in society and in life. I feel like much more happier. I feel like love really does exist without sex. I know for a fact, even though I haven't actually been in an official proper relationship with an asexual person, guy, I still know that asexual love's the best. I can feel and sense that if I was in a relationship with an asexual person, that it would just be who was equally kind, caring, considerate, honest, loyal, loving towards me as I am to him, then I think it would be really amazing, because I just know from the very small experiences I've had that had the guy been a healthy guy for me to be in a relationship with, had he been very honest, not like flirting with other women, or not being dishonest, or not being honest enough, or not had issues going on, and if it just been like a really nice good guy for me, who'd been like honest, straightforward, down to earth, not into other women and romantically, and, you know, like, I know because of the emotional connection side, that would just be great. Love you so much, Sandra. Those people have lost a sweetheart princess. Oh, thank you, Liam. Yeah, you're right. I take your words, and you're completely right, you know. You're completely right. I just think life is such a, you know, it's like such a short space of time. Like, you know, like, I think that if I had someone like me and I was the other person, I would really appreciate me, you know? Like, I'd really appreciate me. but that's how I know they're not the right guy for me. Because I'm like, the right guy would not treat me that way, you know? They would really appreciate me, you know? And I appreciate all you on this channel, you know? I love spending time with you. I love being here with you. I've been here like 2 hours now, so I'm probably going to have to go. But it's been amazing to talk to you. I love being on this channel. I love talking to you. It's nice to talk to you, Liam. Lots of love to you and Heather earlier as well. And there's other people been watching, but I don't know who they are, so hello to you. And, you know, it's been fabulous. And I would never, ever swap being asexual for the whole world. I would never want to be heterosexual. Even though it's difficult to find a partner, I would still always want to be asexual. And I would really prefer to be with an asexual partner. I think that you can have the most deepest, emotional, loving, caring, committed relationship with another asexual. And you can have the very closest relationship possible, you know. But even the friendships I got are amazing. I feel so able to be myself, you know, and to just live a beautiful asexual life overall. I think it's really good. Anyway, I'm going to love you and leave you for now. Thank you so much, Liam, for being here. I loved hanging out with you tonight. Thank you to Heather. Thank you to everyone else. Mwah, mwah. I really appreciate you being here. As always, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that bell icon so you get notified of every time I go live and I post a new video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed the content at all. And I'll see you on the next real live stream. I probably will be live streaming at the weekend, but I've got some work to catch up on before then. So I'll see you soon. Take care. Lots of love. Bye. Have a fantastic day. Have an ace day. An ace day. Lots of love. Oh, I don't want to go. I gotta go. Lots of love.